Well, friends, we are meeting after 2 weeks. Last, we were supposed to meet on Sunday, 15th morning for our regular lecture at ADMI. But last minute, by around 7:30 in the morning, we got a message from Bombay University saying that all the lectures will be postponed till further notice. Hence, we could not meet till today, and hence I am trying to make an attempt from my residence to get connected with you with this new means and new method. Let us see how far we succeed together in this endeavor. Last occasion, when we had a formal lecture, we have gone through the fourth head of income, that is capital gains. The gains arising to an assessee on transfer of capital gains. I hope you recapitulate that lecture session. Today I am going to deal with you the last head of income, that is income from other sources. I am going to discuss with you in necessary details the last head of income, that is income from other sources. Now, if I just try to check with you, what do you understand by the term income from other sources? Especially amongst you, my friends from BCom background, TY BCom background with tax, and of course some BMS friends with tax background. They may recall what is income from other sources. They must have done in their tax syllabus. Yes, you may be right in saying that this is the last or residuary head of income, and the income which cannot be taxed under any of the previous heads is taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, you are right. This recapitulation you will make from your TY BCom experience, which I generally call it as your ratta. But this ratta is all the more good to write for a short note in the exam paper. But being a postgraduate student, you should look to this concept in a different manner and different mode. So let us see, and let me try to exhibit before you my thought process on income from other sources. In income tax, there is a discipline for taxing the income, correct? Discipline, I mean that which income is to be taxed under which head, and from that point of view, the tax heads are determined under Income Tax Act. That is, the first head we have seen in detail, that is salary. Second head, that is income from house property. Third head, profits and gains of business or profession. Fourth, capital gains. And now the last one, that is fifth, income from other sources. But before jumping to the conclusion, as by-hearted by you in your TY BCom or BMS Ratta, that the residuary head or the last head of income, and if income is not taxable under any of the heads, it is taxable here. This is a general thought process. But let us try to have a different thought process to it. In my view, the first and foremost, we should think logically towards taxability of the income. What is that logic? That logic will emerge from a decision tree or a process, a logical thought process. That is, first, whatever income we receive in our hands, whatever receipt rather we receive in our hands, whether it is income or not an income. So the first diamond or a decision making tree, in a decision making analysis or a tree or algorithm, you have the sign of a diamond, which is a question mark, right? So the first question mark is any receipt in our hands, whether it is an income or no income. So possibly the answers are two. No, it is not an income, or yes, it is an income, right? So if it is not an income, then we can enjoy it. We can enjoy that receipt without any tax liability attached to it. However, if the answer is no, it is an income. If it is an income, then the next decision making symbol, that is a diamond, or the next diamond we have to address to it is that whether that income is specifically exempt in my hands as an assessee. If income is exempt in my hands, that is, exemptions are given or enlisted under section 10 of Income Tax Act. So if whatever receipt I have received in my hands is income, but it is exempt, then again there are two outcomes to that diamond or a decision symbol. What? That yes, it is exempt. If the answer is yes, it is exempt, again, like earlier step, we enjoy that exempt income without any attachment of tax burden. But however, if the answer is no, it is not exempt under section 10, then we go further to ask the third decision making. That yes, it is that receipt in my hands is the income. Second, it is not exempt, so it is taxable. Then the question arises that where it is taxable, under which head, whether it is taxable in my hands under the head salary, under the head income from house property, under the head profits and gains of business or profession, or capital gains. If by definition it is not taxable under any of these four baskets or four heads of income, then we have to resort this last residuary head of income, that is income from other sources. Friends, I hope I am clear in this thought process. Why I say this thought process is important, or why we should have this logical analysis to conclude before we tax a particular receipt in our hands under the head, residuary head, income from other sources, is that unless we have this logical analysis and logical conclusion being drawn, it would be a haven for income tax officer. An income tax officer may not apply his mind. The moment you have some income in your hands, and if you are aware and he is also aware that there is a residuary head of income called income from other sources, he will merrily tax you under the income from other sources. Please don't allow that thought process to be developed in the hands and minds of income tax assessing authority. So we should have this logical conclusion that yes, whatever I have received is, that receipt is not a income. Excellent, no tax attachment. If it is income, then let me examine for the next decision, step decision, that is whether it is exempt or not exempt. If exempt, again let us enjoy it without any tax attachment or tax burden attached to it. Third, if it is not exempt, then it is whether taxable under the head salary. The moment we get it taxed under the head salary, friends, you may recall our discussion in that lecture session or lecture module, that is salary, what is taxable in your hands as a salary, what all exempt salaries, what all tax deductions available from or under the head salary. So your net income will be taxable under the head salary. If not under salary, then income from house property. Is it taxable under the head income from house property? Again, the associated deductions will be available under the head income from house property. If not, it is taxable under the head profits and gains of business or profession. It will get taxed under the head profits and gains of business or profession after allowing section 30 to section 37 all the tax deductible expenditures to manage your taxable profit. If it is not taxable under profits and gains of business or profession but taxable under the head capital gains, then naturally the deductions available under the head capital gains and associated exemptions, we can exploit and get benefit of all these earlier heads, their head specific deductions and exemptions. And if not, if that income cannot be taxed by any stretch of imagination and by definition under all those four earlier heads of income, then only income tax officer can resort to tax you under the head income from other sources. Friends, as usual, I am sure you are now clear on this thought process. I have effectively demonstrated before you my thought process before starting with the introduction or the basis of charge of income from other sources. Now, section 56 gives you basis of charge, and that basis of charge precisely says that if the income is not taxable under the earlier heads of income, 4 heads of income, of course, with the backdrop of that logical analysis which I have provided you, then one should resort to tax it under the head income from other sources. Then we come to section 56(2), which is giving chargeability, that which sorts of income are chargeable under the head income from other sources. Or in other words, I would say that the chargeability section says that following incomes will be statutorily taxed under this head. Means neither income tax officer nor as an assessee you have choice. I repeat, neither income tax officer or assessing authority nor you as an assessee has got choice but to offer the following incomes under the head income from other sources. Now friends, if you have understood that these whatever is mentioned on the board due to paucity of the place, okay, I have just mentioned 7 items over here, 7 items over here, and these 7 items we will discuss threadbare item after item. The first item under this head is dividend. Dividend including deemed dividend. Now, what do you mean by dividend? Let us understand the concept of dividend. What do you understand by the term dividend? Of course, again the friends, those who have done their BCom, maybe in their SY BCom, they have their legal background or mercantile law or business law as a paper, and in that, if they have studied the Companies Act, or even otherwise, my other friends, those who can gather the general knowledge of the term dividend from their past experience or commercial experience, they come to the conclusion that dividend is nothing else but a part of the profit which company has made and that company distributes to the shareholders. Now this dividend is that part of profit which is unconditionally made available to the shareholders for distribution after seeking approval in the annual general body. So, in a public limited company scenario, when management comes to a decision that this is a disposable profit made by the company as an entity, and out of that profit, if some profit is to be distributed, then generally the board of directors, under the guidance of managing director, with due discussions and deliberations, decide on the amount of dividend that is payable to the shareholders, and they recommend to the general body the amount of dividend to be distributed. Now, the general body, suppose if it is a limited company, ours is a limited company and you all are shareholders, what is your right as a shareholder? Either to accept that recommendation and accept that dividend and approve that dividend in the general body. If not, you can reduce it, but definitely you cannot enhance it. You cannot tell the board of directors or a managing director that, look, our company has made profit, so we are at liberty to distribute whatever profit we want or the entire profit we want. Sorry, that is not. The dividend is an amount recommended by the board of directors to the general body for their approval. Once general body approves, then that amount is unconditionally available for distribution as a dividend amongst the shareholders, and then that dividend is taxable, invariably taxable, statutorily taxable under the head income from other sources. Now friends, here some doubt may arise to your mind, especially with those friends, those who are having tax background or little knowledge on tax. You would say that, sir, you have been telling now or explaining us that dividend is statutorily taxable under the head section 56(2), under the head income from other sources. But Income Tax Act section 10 gives exemption for dividend. Which dividend? A dividend distributed or announced by a public limited company to its shareholders is exempt. Is exempt under section 10. However, if that exemption is withdrawn by the statute, from the statute or by statutory authority, right, or the lawmaking authority, then that would be taxable. And then that would be taxable under which head? Naturally, that will be taxable under the head income from other sources. And friends, you will appreciate that in the last union budget, this is the current union budget 2020, which our finance minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, she declared in the parliament, stating that she is going to review the various deductions and exemptions, and she is going to do away with quite a few number of deductions and exemptions. Now, in that list of deductions and exemptions, if this particular exemption enshrined under section 10 regarding dividend declared by public limited company goes away, it is discarded, then what about taxability of the term dividend? That dividend will be taxable under the head income from others. So at present, for your studies based on assessment year 1920, you can keep it in mind that dividend by public limited company is exempt under section 10. But all the same, all the more, dividend is declared by cooperative societies. Dividends are declared by banks, cooperative banks. Dividends are declared by private limited organizations. Those dividends, what happens to those dividends? Those dividends, friends, is invariably taxable under the head income from other sources. I hope I am clear on the taxability of dividend under section 56. Now come to the remarks which I have mentioned in the parenthesis. That is dividend including deemed dividend. I am talking of deemed dividend. Have you heard this concept of deemed dividend? I am sure you will recapitulate my discussion, you will recall my discussion on the term deemed. Deemed. I have explained you what is the legal implication of the term deemed. Deemed means as good as. So an amount is considered as good as dividend in the hands of an assessee, hands of the recipient, and that deemed dividend is always very taxable under the head income from other sources. Now, what is this concept of deemed dividend? It is a very interesting concept. It is a very novel concept. Have you heard of this deemed dividend? Dividend, yes, you have heard. I have explained. I have discussed with you. You must have understood by now. But what is deemed dividend? Deemed dividend is a unique concept. Especially this particular deemed dividend concept comes into play in case of private limited organization or private limited companies. Any of you is a member or a shareholder of a private limited company? Because your family may be running some business, and if that business is in the form of a private limited company and you happen to be a shareholder, correct, or a substantial interest holder in that organization, in that company, private limited company, you will understand and appreciate this concept very well. Even otherwise, the others also can understand this concept of deemed dividend very well by way of an example. Let me try to explain you by way of an example. This example is of a private limited company. How private limited company business are run? One old man, Mr. X, he starts a private limited. He starts a business in a very small way, proprietorship, right? Then gradually he gets married. The moment he gets married, his family comes into existence, and his family expands by way of children. Maybe 3-4 sons. Those good old days I am talking of. 3-4 sons, 2 daughters, etc. The family expands. Then some friend of his gives him an advice that, hey dear, you are just running your business as a proprietary concern. Why don't you change it to partnership? So that old man, Mr. X, converts his business into partnership and makes naturally, logically, his sons as partners, wife as a partner, and then partnership firms comes into an existence. Friends, that partnership grows further, expands its business, and once it goes to a sizable level, some consultant or some friend would advise them that it is no more advisable to run as a partnership firm. So it goes to or in the mode of a private limited company. Naturally, when private limited company is floated, who is the chairman and managing director? The old man, Mr. X. He continues to be chairman and managing director. But by then, he has grown from proprietorship to a private limited organization. His sons have also grown. Possibly his third generation is into existence, correct? Maybe of your age, that is grandsons and granddaughters, correct? The family tree is also grown substantially, cousins, correct? Parallel families under the bigger family umbrella, and cousins, uncles, aunties, and all that, and they all are shareholders. That's how the private limited company is managed. Now, when this private limited company is managed, take example of that private limited company that I am the son, maybe elder son of Mr. X, and I being competent, I become managing director. And I make Mr. X say that okay, now you are 80s, in your 80s, so you take rest. You become chairman, or if you do Jada Gadbad, I'll make you chairman emeritus. Correct? So I keep him as a chairman emeritus. I am managing director, and you all are the shareholders. You are all our family members, right? So now in this kind of a family setup, private limited family setup, who works? The managing director works with zeal and enthusiasm, and other few, maybe my few brothers and sisters may contribute to the business, and rest other members and shareholders, their agenda is one point agenda: enjoy, 24/7 enjoy. And in this family, you will appreciate, friends, you can see in your neighborhood or socially that in this family you will find 2-3 candidates, either male or female. I don't discriminate by gender, but male or female, they have 24/7 agenda of enjoyment. And for enjoyment, what they need money. So, like that, one of my cousin's son or a daughter is also a shareholder, being a part of the family, comes to me and my cabin and say, hey uncle, I need 2 lakhs. Right? So she demands 2 lakhs rupees from me. Then I say, no, 2 lakhs is not possible. I will not give you 2 lakhs. Right? Then there is a friction. She will start cursing me, saying that what do you think of yourself, managing director? You are not giving me 2 lakhs. This is not your Baap ka company. Then I also tell that it is not your Baap ka company. It is our dad Baap, that is Mr. X, his company. Like that, there will be heat exchange of wordings, and ultimately I call an accountant and I say, hey accountant, give her 1 lakh. After giving her 1 lakh, I ask my accountant to take her signature on 1 lakh rupees. And friends, today we are on 30th March 2020. 31st March, tomorrow, the financial year is going to get over, 2020. So, for a private limited company, what we will do? We will close our books of accounts and draw our balance sheet and profit and loss account. And being a private limited company, we finalize it, say, by May, right? And or by April end, and by May I call a general body meeting of our private limited company, I being chairman and my father being myself becoming managing director, and chairman being my father, and you all being members, including that niece of mine who took 1 lakh rupees. And I announced that there is going to be a AGM. Now, AGM of such private limited company is held in a 5-star. So I invite you in a 5-star for an evening dinner. And in that evening dinner, I declare the results of private limited company. And I say that, members, I am glad to inform you that our company has made great profits and we are declaring 30% dividend. So everybody claps and then cheers, and then the party is on. That niece comes to me and asks me, hey, what about my dividend? So I tell her, let us not spoil the party. Come tomorrow to my office and I will give you, or I will pay you the dividend, what is rightfully payable to. Now, as rightfully payable to her, there is a dividend of 3 lakhs rupees. So she comes next day morning to my office and demands 3 lakhs. I call my accountant and ask my accountant to pay her 2 lakhs. She flares up. Think, hey, yesterday you have promised 30% dividend, 3 lakhs, and now you are paying me 2 lakhs. So I remind her, my dear, few weeks back or few months back, you have collected 1 lakh rupees. Accountant, please show her that voucher of 1 lakh rupees. That 1 lakh rupees is adjusted against 3 lakhs rupees as a dividend, and this 2 lakhs rupees is paid as a net dividend. Friends, how much dividend she got? In effect, totality 3 lakhs. Out of that 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs is paid by way of a dividend, and 1 lakh, whatever loan, non-refundable loan she took during the previous year or financial, is considered as deemed dividend. Is considered as deemed dividend. Are you clear about this example? That 1 lakh rupees taken as an unrefundable loan or non-refundable loan paid to my niece when she asked me some money from the private limited company or profits of private limited company. That 1 lakh was deemed dividend. Total dividend was 3 lakhs. So 1 lakh plus 2 lakhs, whatever we pay her now, total 3 lakhs. Like 3 lakhs rupees means dividend 3 lakhs rupees, including deemed dividend 2 lakhs plus including deemed dividend of 1 lakh in this example is held taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, I am sure with this example, you must be clear about the concept of deemed dividend. Now coming to point number 2, interest on security. What is interest on security? Interest on securities is an interest earned by an investor on fixed deposits, long-term securities, debentures, and other financial investments. So when you have interest earned on these long-term debentures or financial investments or bonds or fixed deposits, etc., is held statutorily taxable under the head income from other sources. Clear about interest on securities? We move to the next, winning from lottery. Now if you see, the point number 3 is winning from lottery, crossword puzzles, card games, horse races, etc. So this variety of income of this nature is taxable under the head income from other sources. Now let us dissect one after the other. Winning from lottery. What is lottery? What is your understanding of the term lottery? Can anybody explain? Yes, lottery is, friends, let me remind you of a topic from algebra. Now you will say what algebra has to do with tax, but no, it is in relation. In algebra, you must have come across one particular topic if you have done your maths in your undergraduation or during graduation, the concept of probability. Probability. What is the probability? That famous, you can say, question. What is the probability of drawing an ace from a well shuffled pack of cards, 52 cards? And then your answer, like a rower, will be 4 by 52. Means 1 by 13. So 1 by 13 is the chance of drawing an S from a well shuffled pack of 52 cards, and the probability that card picked up or drawn from that would turn out to be an ace. Ace of diamond, spade, clubs, right? One of those ace out of 4 ace. So 4 by 52 is equal to 1 by 13. That probability. So exactly, the lottery is nothing else but a game of chance. Winning it by chance. Now how the lottery is run? Lottery means the government comes out with a scheme of lottery. They print the lottery tickets. They have series. Then they print those tickets and distribute it to their agents. You go to the agent, pay the ticket price, 10 rupees or 100 rupees, and you participate. You draw that many tickets, and if that ticket number, which your ticket bears the number, and that number comes in the declared number, maybe last digit or last 2 digits or last 3 digits or the entire series, then you are winning that particular prize. That prize you win by luck, by chance. Every day we don't win lottery. But then, even if you don't win lottery every day, one day you win the lottery, and that lottery is statutorily held taxable under the head income from others. Assume that you have got a lottery of 1 lakh rupees. So you go to the lottery agent or a dealer, surrender your lottery ticket and get 1 lakh rupees. But you will not get 1 lakh, you will get 70,000 net of TDS, income tax TDS. It will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Since that lottery dealer doesn't know your taxability level or income level, so he will deduct 30% tax straight away from it and will give you net of tax 70,000 rupees. Now you being a student, you don't have any other income or income source, so you will have to file your return of income. You will have to declare your gross total income of lottery from income from other sources under that head, 1 lakh rupees. You say, being a student and below taxable threshold limit, my tax payable is nil. However, government has deducted 30% TDS, 30,000 rupees, for which you will get a credit, and that 30,000 rupees you will get by way of a refund from income tax authorities. Correct? So, the sum and substance, lottery. Any ticket won from lottery will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Coming to next, crossword puzzles. You solve these Sudoku or crossword puzzles, correct? Horizontal words, vertical words, angular words, correct? Then, if you win that particular crossword puzzle and you earn some money, say 5,000 rupees, maybe a small amount, 500 rupees, whatever it is, it will be held taxable under the head income from other sources, crossword puzzles. Then card games. Friends, you are aware of card games? Yes, famous card games you must be participating into, correct? That is what? Which card games? You are expert in all that. That is either Teen Patti or Rummy, and at what stake or what point you will play. 1 paisa a point or a 10 paisa a point. But then in the outside world, officially gambling is allowed by Government of India. Government of India and Government of Maharashtra issues license, and there are clubs. In prestigious clubs, there are card rooms where the members of that club, they participate and they play rummy, poker, or maybe bridge, or as you say, Teen Patti, with stakes. And that gambling, official gambling, if you happen to win in that, that will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Are you getting my point? You cannot say that I am into profits, I am into a business or profession of playing cards, and hence my income is taxable under the head profits and gains of business or profession. You cannot level that argument. You cannot take up that argument before the income tax officer. The income tax officer will invariably say that you have earned something from gambling, you have to offer it tax under the head income from other sources. So card games. And next, horse races. Friends, you may be aware, horse races. In our Mumbai, we have a famous place called Mahalakshmi Race Course, wherein there are races, derby races, etc. in the season, of course. So people gather over there, assemble over there, and they put stakes on the horse races. And in those horse races, if you happen to win either triple pool or a jackpot, correct? Triple pool, jackpot, there are different types of prizes allowed in the horse races. And if that is declared to you against your ticket, whatever you have taken from the Turf Club of India, then it will be held taxable. The gross income will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. There also, under horse races also, if you win or happen to win on your ticket, correct, or stake on a particular horse or a particular race in the derby, then you will be paid net of tax. Like lottery, you will be paid net of tax. 30% tax will be deducted at source, and only 70% you will get. You will have to file your return of income and claim refund if your income is not taxable. If your income is taxable, then along with other income, it will be added as income from other sources and held taxable at normal rates. Am I clear? So the third aspect is also over, beginning from lottery, crossword puzzles, card games, and horse races, etc. We come to fourth point. That is income from plant, machinery, or furniture let on hire. Now, this particular category, income from plant, machinery, or furniture let on hire. What kind of income is postulated over here? What they contemplate here? They contemplate here that if you have an industrial unit or an industrial gala, or you have some industrial units, plural units, 2-3 units, coming to you in your hands, or coming to you by way from your forefathers, correct, as an ancestral thing. And then you are an engineer, so you may run one unit, industrial unit, being an engineer, correct, manufacturing some mechanical items, engineering items, etc. But balance 2 units, maybe because of paucity of time and management skills, you cannot. So you can't operate all the 3. So out of 3, 1 you run as an engineering company, and balance 2 you offer it on rent to somebody. Lock, stock, barrel. Lock, stock, barrel in the sense, the premises, industrial premises, which is fitted with furniture, plant, machinery, correct, office fittings, etc. And you give entire industrial working unit on hire and earn some rent. Then friends, here there are 2 choices. One, you can offer that income under the head profits and gains of business or profession, saying that I am into a business of letting on hire this industrial unit and earn income, and I am prepared to offer it for taxability under the head profits and gains of business or profession. If you are not offering it under profits and gains of business or profession, then invariably it will be taxed over here. So if you see, I have mentioned on the board, income from plant, machinery or furniture let on hire, where it is not separable from building. Means to the building, industrial unit, gala, furniture, plant and machinery, office equipment, fan, AC, light fittings are embedded. They cannot be separately taken out and given on hire. So you are giving entire lock stock barrel, entire unit on hire. Then that income is taxable under this head. Provided it is, and it is not already charged to tax under the profits and gains. So if you have already offered it for tax under profits and gains of business or profession, it will not be taxable here. But if you have not offered it for profits and gains of business or profession, then such rent received or this letting fees received for an industrial unit or gala will be invariably taxable under the head income from other sources. Then coming to next point, money or property received without consideration. Friends, what you can call it? Point number 5, money or property received without consideration. Yes, gift. It is taking the nature of gift. So if you receive any gift from anybody, either in cash or in kind, it will be held taxable. Friends, here it is important to understand that gifts generally are not taxable under the Income Tax Act. They are not generally taxable as income under Income Tax Act worldwide. But in India, a special carve out has been taken out for gifts. Why? Because as I rightly say in my every lecture, possibly you are now accustomed to this particular saying that Indian mind is excellent. Indian mind, nobody can beat. Very intelligent. And the moment that Indian mind, intelligent mind starts working, it brings that intelligence to their advantage and to the disadvantage of Income Tax Department. Exactly the same thing has happened in gifts. The moment you say gifts are not taxable, we all will start a business of gifting each other. We will have crisscross gifts. I will gift you in one financial year. In next financial year, you will gift me. And by giving these cross gifts, what we will try to aim and achieve? We will try to aim and achieve converting our black money into white money. Right? Because, take an example. The first bench, somebody who is sitting on the first bench, correct, is sitting always on the first bench, nodding at me, understanding the lecture. So we have developed an rapport. And then I approach that student saying that, hey, you have a lot of white money, or your parents rather have a lot of white money, right? And I have some black money, say a lakh of rupees. Now I want to convert that black money. So I approach that student and I request that student that can you accommodate me by way of giving a gift? And if that student agrees with me by giving a gift of 1 lakh rupees, so you get a check of 1 lakh rupee from your father and give it to me. For what? For an excellent lecture. Correct? So I get that 1 lakh rupees. What it is in my hands? It is gift. And the moment I receive that gift, if it is not taxable, then I will make an arrangement with you. I will enter into an arrangement with you that you give me 1 lakh rupees and I reach somehow your parents 1,10,000 in cash. The moment I reach 1,10,000 rupees in cash to your parents and you give me a check of 1 lakh rupees, what has happened? My 1,10,000 rupees black money has got converted into a white money. Now friends, over the period, maybe 2-3 years down the line, as being my student, being smart, you will become further extra smart and you will oversmart me, saying that after 3 years you meet me and you say, sir, do you remember me? I said, yes, how I can forget you, dear? So you say, now sir, it is your turn. By then you have accumulated 2 lakhs black money. So you ask me, sir, can you accommodate me? Then I say, yes, why not? Last time you accommodated me, so today I am going to accommodate you. So I will give you a check of 2 lakhs and in effect, you will reach my wife 2,20,000 in cash. The moment my wife gives me a WhatsApp saying that 220 and Anguta, I give check to you for 2 lakhs rupees. Friends, in this whole process, what has happened? 3 years down the line, you help me in converting my black money 1 lakh into white money. After 3 years down the line, you have accumulated 2 lakhs black money. I have helped you in converting your black money into white money. This circle. And if I can have an arrangement with one student in a class of our MMS Division A or Division B, as the case may be, 60 students. And well, friends, let me remind you another topic from algebra, permutation and combinations. 60 students can have 60 arrangements with each other, and then 61st person, and then 120 students having inter exchange of thoughts, process, idea, and multiplying. What will happen? How many permutation combinations? How much black money and we can convert into white, and white money we can convert into black? Can one imagine? Definitely not. So to arrest this kind of accommodating gifts or accommodation arrangements, for the first time when our finance minister Yashwant Sinha became finance minister, he came out with this idea under section 56(1)(7). He said, 56(2)(7), he said, money or property received without consideration in excess of 25,000 rupees will be held taxable as deemed income under the head income from other sources. With deemed income concept, they brought this taxability. So the meaning thereby that anything received in excess of 25,000. After Yashwant Sinha, the government was replaced by Congress government. My friend Mr. Chidambaram became the finance minister. He enhanced limit from 25,000 to 50,000. Currently, the limit stands at 50,000. What is the sum and substance? That if you happen to give me a gift up to 50,000, it is not taxable, because you and me are unrelated party. So between unrelated party, the limit of 50,000 exists. So you can give me merely 49,999 today on 30th March, and on 1st of April, sorry, not 1st of April, 1st of April will be April Fool's Day, I will not accept anything on 1st of April. You give me on 2nd April another 49,999. In a short span of 1 week's time, I can make 1 lakh rupees, almost 1 lakh rupees, without attracting any tax liability in my hands, because I have received money without consideration, that is by way of gift from you, 49,999 in one previous year, 1920, and on 2nd April 2021, I have received 49,999. In effect, almost a lakh of rupees will not be taxable in my hand. But if you happen to be in my relation, in my close relation, or I can say permissible degree of relationships explained under section 56(2)(7), then sky is the limit. Which are all those permissible degree of relationships? That is husband and wife, children, grandchildren, grandfather, grandparent. So just quickly let us see those permissible degree of relationship. You will find it interesting. You can note it. 1. The first permissible degree of relationship is spouse of an individual. What do you mean by spouse? Spouse means husband. Correct? For a female, husband, and for a male, wife. Logically. Right? So spouse of an individual. So Mr. X can gift any amount to Mrs. X, and Mrs. X can gift any amount to Mr. X. In their individual hands, such gifts will not be taxable, will not be included under the head income from other sources. And what is the limit? Sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Right? Yes. Second, brother or sister of an individual. Brother or sister. So you are immediately brother or sister. Elder brother, younger brother. Real brother, of course, not cousins. Cousins are not included. So brother or sister of an individual. Third category, brother or sister of the spouse of the individual. What do you mean by brother and sister of the spouse of the individual? Sala, Sali. So this relationship is also very valuable. You can earn anything from them in terms of gifts, any amount. Sky is the limit, and it will not be taxable in your hands under the head income from other sources. Only thing is, you should be lucky enough to have such Sala and Sali. I put it that way. Next, brother or sister of either of the parents of the individual. What do you mean by brothers and sisters of parents of the individual? How many parents do you have? Of course, 2. Correct? Father and mother. So their respective brothers and sisters, immediate brothers and sisters, real brothers and sisters. It means from maternal side, your mama. From paternal side, your chacha. Correct? From maternal side, your mausi. Correct? And your paternal side, your atiya. Correct? That is permissible degree of relationship. From such people, if you receive gifts, sky is the limit. Next, any lineal ascendant or descendant of an individual. Any lineal ascendant or descendant. Mark the words carefully. The wording. Any lineal ascendant. What do you mean by ascendant? Ascendant means upstairs. That is you, your parents, your grandparents. Correct? How many parents? 2 parents. How many grandparents? 4 grandparents. Nana, nani, dada, dadi. Right? So 4. 4 grandparents, 2 parents. These 6 are ascendants. And great grandparents also if they are alive. Like that, descendant. Descendant means your children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. So in this permissible degree of relationship, friends, you can have sky as the limit for gifts. It is not taxable. Next is very interesting, as I always put it in my own style. Any lineal ascendant or descendant of the spouse of the individual. Any lineal ascendant or descendant of the spouse of the individual. What do you mean by that? Understood? Please, and any lineal or ascendant or descendant. Lineal ascendant you can imagine. Your spouse means maybe your wife or husband as the case may be. And lineal ascendant means your father-in-law, mother-in-law. Right? If you are lucky enough to have such father-in-law and mother-in-law who can give you a gift of enormous amount, not taxable in your hands. Only thing is you should be lucky enough to have such mother-in-law and father-in-law. Right? Lineal ascendant of the spouse of the individual. Lineal descendant of the spouse of the individual? Yes. You will smile. Lineal descendant means children. But here the wording is lineal descendant of the spouse of the individual. Spouse of the individual means, friends, this is an American concept. These are my children, these are your children, and these are our children. Are you getting my point? My children means my children, not from spouse. Your children means spouse children, not from me. And our children means our combined activity, my children. So all these, spouse, lineal descendant of spouse, the wide meaning is that. Your children, my children, our children. So all these are coming in permissible degree of relationship. And lastly, point number 7, spouse of the person referred to from 2 to 6 above. Spouse of the persons referred to from 2 to 6 above. So all those spouses means your brother's wife, your sister's husband, your sister-in-law's husband, correct? Your mama's wife, that is your mami, your chacha's wife, that is chachi, or your attiya's husband, correct? So all these permissible degree of relationship, sky is the limit, right? Yes, apart from that, friends, the gifts received on the occasion of marriage are also not taxable because they are petty gifts. Nobody gives you, correct, on the stage, marriage stage, more than 50,000 rupees. In envelope, how much you will receive? 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, 2000, 5000, 10,000. They are all on the occasion of marriage. If you receive from your friends, relatives, and the gathering crowd at your reception, it is not taxable in your hands. Collectively, even if it exceeds 50,000, it will not be taxable. Am I clear on this? So, gifts, money or property received without consideration, deals with the term gifts. I hope you are clear on this. Correct? So indirectly gifts have been made taxable under the head income from other sources. And the permissible limit is 50,000. So when are you gifting me? 49,999 today and 49,999 on 2nd of April. Correct? Yes. Next point, interest on compensation. Interest on compensation. Interest on compensation is also held taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, under the head salary, you may recall, I have dealt with you one concept, VRS, Voluntary Retirement Scheme, compensation received under Voluntary Retirement Scheme. Now assume that you are getting a compensation under Voluntary Retirement Scheme of 5 lakhs rupees. And your employer is not going to give you that 5 lakhs rupees in one shot. He says, I will pay you 1 lakh now, or 2 lakhs now, 2 lakhs after 1 year, and maybe balance 1 lakh after 2 years. You will agree for that compensation, but you will invariably ask your employer that you are going to pay me out of 5 lakhs, 2 lakhs now and balance 3 lakhs after 2 years. Correct? 2 lakhs next year and 1 lakh year after. So I need interest on that. So you will definitely bound to claim interest on that compensation, delayed payment of compensation. So you are going to get 2 lakhs now out of 5 lakhs. It is a VRS compensation exempt under section 10, right, which we have dealt with at the time of salary. Balance 2 lakhs, you are going to get it next year along with the interest. So that interest will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Interest on compensation. Balance 1 lakh, you will get it in the third year along with interest. That interest component will be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, am I clear on this aspect, interest on compensation? Then we move on to the next, advance money forfeited. Advance money forfeited. What do you mean by advance money forfeited? Advance money forfeited means, I can make you clear this point by way of an appropriate example. The example is, suppose I am interested in selling my flat and you are interested in buying my flat. We settle on that flat, correct, value, say 1 CR. Out of 1 CR, you say you have 50 lakhs now, and balance 50 lakhs you will arrange from HDFC or some other financer, or your uncle or auntie is going to give you some money and you will have provision of that 50 lakhs and you will pay me and take my flat. So you come, you approve my flat and you buy that flat or agree to buy that flat at 1 CR. And then you tell me that, sir, you be out of your market, this market, don't show your flat to anybody. Your flat has been approved by me. I'm going to buy it at 1 crore. So I be rest assured. And I give you a time limit of 1 month. But I say, look, I have to wait for 1 month. So give me some token money. Token, right? Bayana, token. That is 1 lakh. So you give me 1 lakh rupees. Now that 1 lakh rupees is in my pocket. After 3 weeks, I phone you up and say, hey, look, now 3 weeks over. When are you going to arrange for the funds and going to buy my flat? Pay me 1 CR. You say, sir, wait for 1 week. I'll organize. And that 1 week is over. After that, you call me saying that, sir, give me 1 more week. I give you 1 more week. Then you say, sir, that uncle was to give me, but he has ditched me, and auntie has spoiled his mind, and uncle is not ready to give 50 lakhs. So now I'll approach HDFC. So please give me another 15 days. So I give you another 15 days. Like that, friends, you consume 1 more month. So 1 month is over, another 1 month is over, 2 months. I'm just waiting for you to gather that 1 CR and come to me. Your 1 lakh is in my pocket as an advance. After 2 months, you come and tell me that, sir, I have somehow collected 60 lakhs, but balance 40 lakhs HDFC is not ready to give, looking into my payslip or looking into my repayment capacity. So sorry, our deal is fizzled out. You are free to go to the market and you can sell that flat to anybody. Give me my 1 lakh rupees back, as you asked me. Am I going to return you that 1 lakh rupees? No. I will say, look, you have kept me out of market for 2 months. My prospective customers, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, they have gone. And now if I go and approach those prospective customers, they are not ready to buy my flat at 1 CR. They will say lesser price. Because if I am after them to buy my flat. So I forfeit your 1 lakh rupees. Now that forfeited money of 1 lakh rupees, your advance given to me against flat, will be held taxable in my hands under the head income from other sources. Friends, that time I cannot level an argument. I cannot take up this argument before the income tax officer that I am not into a business, or I am into a business of showing my flat or showcasing my flat to somebody, to the prospective buyer, and earn some deposit from that buyer and forfeit that deposit and make it as a profit. It is profits and gains of business or profession. I am not into that business. I am not into that profession. Income tax officer will not accept by this argument. Invariably, that amount forfeited in my hands will be taxed under the head income from other sources. Friends, are you clear about these 7 points? Correct? Apart from these 7 points, one more point is there, which because of paucity of board, I could not write it on the board, and that is a family pension. Or maybe possibly I can write somewhere here, point number 8. This family pension is also held taxable under the head income from other sources. What do you mean by family pension? I have dealt with you this term pension. While dealing with the term salary, I have dealt with you in detail the term pension. Pension means what you receive from your employer. But Mr. X receives pension from his employer after the retirement. And after retirement, maybe 10 years down the line, he is in photo frame, he expired. Then who will get that pension? Mr. X's wife, widow of Mr. X. That is Mrs. X will get this pension. And how much? Half of what Mr. X was drawing. So Mr. X was drawing 20,000 pension. Mrs. X, upon expiry of Mr. X, will draw half the pension, that is 10,000 rupees, till such time she is alive. After suppose 5 years, she also expires, and Mr. X's last son is minor. So till he becomes major, he also continues to get that pension, right? The children of deceased employee will get that pension. That is called family pension. That is 10,000 rupees. So that 10,000 rupees, half the pension, which family members draw upon cessation of that employee, upon expiry of that employee, is invariably held taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, am I clear on this? So if you are clear about all these incomes which are statutorily held taxable under the head income from other sources, then our chargeability, discussion on chargeability is over. Apart from section 56(2), friends, you can imagine other host of the things, other variety of income can be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Just to give you an example, what Mr. Amitabh Bachchan got money from Government of India, from Mr. Modi, for brand ambassador of the state Gujarat. He used to be a brand ambassador for the state Gujarat. He used to get some compensation. That compensation is taxable where? As a brand ambassador. It is taxable under the head income from other sources. He cannot say, our friend Mr. Amitabh cannot say that I am into profits and gains of business or profession of becoming brand ambassador for the states and earn money. Sorry. His profession or his business is to shoot films, do ads, do Kaun Banega Crorepati, correct? Celebrity shows and earn income. So that is his profits and gains of business or profession. He is getting money as a brand ambassador from Government of India or from Government of Gujarat or from Mr. Modi, will be held taxable under the head income from others. Our other friend Mr. Sachin Tendulkar used to put MRF everywhere, on head, that is helmet, and here on guards and pads and gloves and everywhere on bat and on the reverse of bat. That MRF. Was he putting free of cost? No. Definitely he was compensated by MRF for advertising. He was a brand ambassador for MRF. So that compensation received by Mr. Sachin Tendulkar will be held taxable under income from other sources. Friends, many a times I get some honorarium. I get honorarium. Honorarium from where? From our own institute, ADMIS. Can I say that I am into business and profession of delivering lectures and earning honorarium? No. This honorarium received from institute, I do offer in my hands under the head income from other sources. Like that, from our great university of Mumbai, correct? I get some money for paper setting, evaluation, moderation, correct? Checking. Then that money received for examination and evaluation of examination papers, answer papers, is taxable under the head income from other sources. Like that, you can find out variety of income which can be held taxable under the head income from other sources. Friends, now if you are clear about this, that the scope, basis of charge, chargeability, scope, statutorily, what all types of incomes are taxable under the head profits and gains of, not profits and gains, taxable under the head income from other sources, and which are the other types of incomes which are statutorily, not statutorily, but otherwise taxable under the head income from other sources. We can switch over to the deductions. Now I make one statement that as a last resort, you should bring taxability of income and invoke taxability of income under the head income from other sources. Okay? Otherwise, what happens? Otherwise, friends, there is a danger and threat that your gross income under that head will be taxable. See, under salary, what is taxable? After deducting standard deduction and profession tax, your net income is taxable under that salary. After claiming exemptions under the section 10 of salary, your income is taxable under that salary. Under the head income from house property, after getting deduction under section 24, municipal valuation, section 24 deduction for interest, for housing loan, standard deduction 30% of NAV, etc., net taxable income. Capital gains, your net tax capital gains is taxed under the head capital gain. Profits and gains of business or profession, your net profit worked out after making certain adjustments and allowing section 32, section 37 taxable deductions of expenditures is taxable under the head. But under income from other sources, the danger is possibly your gross income will get taxable. Because here the deductions mentioned are quite few. Only five deductions are available under the head income from other sources. Other than that, you don't tend to get any deduction. Deduction number 1, I can state that collection charges. In case of dividend and interest on securities, on combined of this, you get a deduction called collection charges as a deduction. And that collection charges is reasonable expenditure incurred for collection charges. Honestly, tell me, to realize dividend into your by way of ECS in your bank account, how much expenditure do you incur? Nil. To get interest credited in your bank account by way of ECS on bonds or debentures or fixed deposits, how much in expenditure do you incur? Virtually nil. So there is nothing allowable. Your gross interest, gross dividend will be held taxable. Are you getting my point? So reasonable, first deduction available under the head income from other sources, reasonable expenditure allowed as collection charges. Assume you have a wide, big portfolio, and that portfolio you are allowing it to handle by a freshly graduate BCom student. So you request that BCom student, he or she, within your social network or maybe in your relation or society or somebody, that please come to my residence, I'll give you my portfolio, you track it, that each and every dividend, each and every interest, whether I have received or not, and you pay that boy or a girl 1,000 rupees per month. In that 1,000 rupees per month, once a week, he or she attends your residence or office, deals with that Excel file of your portfolio and tracks whether you have received dividend and interest, etc., and you are paying 1,000 rupees. Like that 12,000 rupees you will end up paying annually. That 12,000 rupees will be deductible. At the most, you pay 2,000 rupees per month, 24,000 rupees will be deductible. If your portfolio is so big that you are earning in few lakhs dividend and interest, then maybe 24,000 would be allowable. But at 24,000 would be a paltry deduction. So virtually your gross income gets taxed. Second deduction available under this particular head is 1/3 family pension. With respect to family pension, 1/3 of family pension or 15,000, whichever is less. So whatever family pension is received by the deceased employee's legal heirs, they get deduction of 15,000 rupees or 1/3 of family pension received, whichever is less, as a deduction from family pension. So can you see, friends, if you are earning dividend and interest, you get reasonable collection charges as an expenditure. If you receive family pension, then you get 1/3 of family pension or 15,000 as a deduction. So these deductions are attached with income. So if you get winning from horse races, lottery, crossword puzzle, you will not get these deduction. Family pension deduction will not help you in reducing this income. Dividend, collection charges, whatever deductible expenditure, reasonable collection charges and expenditure from dividend and interest. If you don't receive this and you receive income from plant machinery, you cannot offset it against that. You cannot claim that expenditure against it. So are you getting my point? In this head, under this head, income from other sources, very paltry deductions are allowed. Those deductions are subhead specific. If you are receiving income under that specific subhead, then only you can claim that deduction. Are you getting my point? Third deduction allowable under this is income from plant, machinery or furniture laid on hire. When you receive this type of an income, what you get deduction is depreciation on this plant, machinery, furniture depreciation. Insurance premium paid with respect to plant, machinery, furniture or your industrial premises. So insurance, depreciation, insurance. Only these two expenditure are allowed against this. Correct? No third expenditure is allowed. Or rents and taxes. If that particular gala is on hire, industrial unit or gala is on hire, and you tend to pay property taxes. So taxes are allowed. Correct? If you own the premises. If you have taken it out on rent, then the rent paid towards that industrial premises will be allowed. Very paltry deductions, very specific deductions. Correct? That's it. Then interest on compensation. When you get interest on compensation, that is the fourth deduction. The fourth deduction, interest on compensation, 50% of interest on compensation you get it as a deduction. And lastly, the fifth deduction under this income from other sources is a general deduction. You may recall our discussion of section 37, profits and gains of business or profession, general deduction. Like that, you get here general deduction. That general deduction is allowable against income from other sources, provided that expenditure is incurred for the purpose and exclusively for earning that income. So there is a connect nexus between the expenditure incurred and the income earned. The expenditure should be such that, but you should not have incurred that expenditure. There was no possibility of earning you income from other sources. Then such inexplicable link is established between an expenditure and income from other source. Then only that expenditure is allowable. Are you getting my point? So the nexus between the expenditure incurred and the income earned under the head income from other sources should be such that but for expenditure having incurred, there was no possibility of earning income. Then only that expenditure is allowable. Otherwise, it is not allowable. You should be able to effectively demonstrate before income tax officer that had I not incurred this expenditure, there was no possibility of earning that income. Then only at the discretion of income tax officer you will get that general deduction. Tell me, according to me, it is dangerous or not? Yes, definitely it is dangerous, because you should be able to establish the inseparable relationship between an expenditure and income, and of course the luck should dwell upon you that the income tax officer should have a favorable mindset to allow you that. Having accepted your logic that expenditure has got nexus with income. Now, just to clarify this point, I can tell you what kind of an expenditure will be allowable. Assuming you are a student and in your time pass or your spare time, you are on a lookout for some real estate deals. I mean real estate deals in the sense you come across some good property, correct? A small, maybe a office premises kind of a property. In your known person circle, relations, those who are going to go abroad, they want to sell it on a very hectic sale basis. So you come to me and approach me saying that, sir, this is a very good property in a very prominent location and you are getting it at a real cheap, dead cheap price. Why don't you buy it? Just because that family who happens to dispose of that particular property is in my relation, so I am giving you this chance. You being a very good professor, I am giving you this chance, correct? In kind of a Guru Dakshina kind of a thing. You approach me. And then I shoo you away, saying that I am not interested in property. Though I have enough money to buy that property, I am not interested. How you will try to hook me on that property? What is the next best course of action? How you will approach and convince me about that property, to buy that property? The best way to do it is to approach Mrs. Prabhu Patkar. You know, you go and meet Mrs. Prabhu Patkar. You tell that sir is absolutely idiot. He doesn't understand. Immediately she will agree on that. Yes. And she will say, okay, now that good property, I'll see to it that your sir buys. So when I go home in the evening, my wife is on my head, saying that, hey, you don't understand, your student is after you, correct? And that student, he or she has approached me also, saying that sir is not ready to understand the importance, very good property at throwaway price, so you try to convince her. Then also I tell her that no, students, they keep on telling like that, I'm not interested, right? After that, she immediately keeps on persisting with me. Then next time you approach her and then take us out for a dinner. Over a dinner table, you try to convince both of us. My wife is already convinced. You convince me also. And somehow because of wife's pressure, you convince me. And I get convinced. And then ultimately I buy that office. The moment I buy that office and take that property, 1 week down the line, you are going to approach me saying that, sir, what about my brokerage? 1%. So 1% brokerage, say 1 CR property, 1% brokerage, that is 1 lakh rupees. Now friends, while earning that 1 lakh rupees as a brokerage, what you have done? You have taken me out for a coffee, you have taken me out for a tea, snacks, my wife maybe for coffee, snacks, and maybe both of us for a dinner or lunch. You happen to spend 10,000 rupees on various occasions. Definitely you can claim that expenditure. But for that expenditure, you would not have incurred and convinced Mrs. Prabhu Patkar, and in turn convinced me or pressurized me to get convinced and buy that property. You would not have possibility to earn that brokerage. Are you getting the connectivity in that expenditure and that brokerage? But for that expenditure on lunch, brunch, snacks, tea, coffee, time spending with us, you would not have incurred. There was no possibility of you earning that 1 lakh rupee brokerage. So that kind of expenditure is only allowed and allowable under the head income from other sources. Friends, to sum up, I have discussed with you the basis of charge, the scope of income under the head income from other sources, the chargeability, what all types of income are taxable under the head income from other sources. We have discussed threadbare all the 8 points which are statutorily held taxable under the head income from other sources. Apart from whatever income taxable under statutorily under the head income from other sources, variety of other types of income which are taxable under the head income from other sources, and the relevant deductions applicable. With this, let me conclude our today's session on income from other sources. However, before concluding today's lecture, let me remind you about our Prime Minister. Our beloved Prime Minister has made an appeal, countrywide appeal, that let us maintain social distancing. However, while maintaining social distancing, at wherever place, whichever place you are, at your native place, at your hostels, at your residence, etc., maintain that social distancing. But while maintaining that social distancing, we should have the emotional connect. Our emotional connect should be on a higher scale. We should be connected to each other emotionally. So you can consider this as a positive step from my side in that direction to get emotionally connected with you, that we are losing or going to lose on lectures, so we can make it compensated by way of this kind of connect wherever you are. So wherever you are, at wherever, whichever location you are, at your native place or whatever, please convey my regards to your family members, take care of them, and maintain social distancing with our emotional connect. Thank you.